Something truly unusual is unfolding in the sky at this very moment, a phenomenon so subtle yet so profound that almost nobody is talking about it in the rush of daily life. While the world continues its frantic pace, a rare and potent sequence of planetary energy is reaching its absolute peak between March 28th and March 31st. If you are paying attention to these words right now, you are one of the few who is catching this window of opportunity just before it closes. Most people will move through these final days of March as if they are completely ordinary, perhaps distracted by their phones, the demands of their jobs, or the repetitive cycle of routine decisions, never realizing that the very cosmic atmosphere surrounding them is quietly shifting in ways that could redefine their future. But for those who study the movements of the heavens, this is not a surprise. Astrologers have been watching this specific energy build all through the month, recognizing that we are approaching a rare convergence. The final days of March are not random occurrences or a mere quirk of the calendar. They are the culmination of a long cosmic buildup that began weeks ago. Imagine a chain of planetary movements, each one a link, slowly stacking on top of one another until they reached this exact moment of intensity. This is significant because moments like this often coincide with those pivotal times in our own lives when something deep inside us begins to shift. It is that sudden, inexplicable urge to take a risk you previously feared, to finally confront a situation you have been avoiding for months, or to start moving in a direction that has been calling to your soul for a very long time. While many will feel this internal tug and choose to ignore it, perhaps dismissing it as a passing mood or a distraction from real life, others will recognize it for what it truly is, a signal for change. If you can understand the forces at play between March 28th and March 31st, you will begin to see why these days feel strangely important and heavy with potential, even if you cannot yet find the words to explain why. This energy is complex because it does not originate from a single source. It is the result of multiple powerful forces in the sky interacting simultaneously, each representing a different facet of our human experience. One of these forces governs the realms of love, desire, and the core values we hold most dear. Another represents the drive for expansion, the search for opportunity, and the courage required to take necessary risks. A third force represents deep, fundamental transformation, the kind of evolutionary change that forces us to grow and adapt, whether we feel ready to do so or not. For much of the month, these influences have been operating quietly in the background, like separate plot lines in a story slowly weaving together. However, as we hit the window of March 28th to March 31st, their combined influence becomes impossible to ignore. You may find yourself having sudden realizations about your life path, engaging in unexpected and revealing conversations, or feeling a mounting sense that you have reached a critical turning point. Before we go further, I want to mention something important. The most powerful part of this cosmic shift actually happens toward the end of this video, where I'll explain the one thing that separates the people who benefit from this energy and the people who completely miss the opportunity. So make sure you watch until the end, because the final section will show you exactly what you should be doing between March 28th and March 31st to align with this energy. And if you enjoy content like this, and subscribe to the channel. To truly grasp why these final days of March carry such a strange and focused intensity, we have to look back at the timeline. The cosmic story that has brought us to this threshold started weeks earlier. While the sky is always changing and planets are in constant motion, every so often their movements form patterns that correspond with periods of heightened awareness and major decisions in our lives. This isn't necessarily about fate or some dramatic event that strikes like a bolt of lightning overnight. Rather, it is about a subtle internal pressure that builds up over time. Consider those moments in your past when you realized something fundamental had to change. Perhaps a relationship that had lost its spark, a career that no longer brought you excitement, or a dream you had kept shelved for years. Those realizations rarely happen in a vacuum. They are usually the result of weeks or months of internal shifting until you reach a point where taking action becomes unavoidable. The cosmic patterns we see at the end of March symbolize exactly this kind of threshold, the moment where quiet reflection finally turns into outward movement. It is the point where the tension between staying in your comfort zone and taking a bold risk becomes so great that it can no longer be ignored. For many, the choices considered during this specific window will shape the entire direction of the months to come. This journey toward the end of March actually began with the echoing energy of a powerful lunar eclipse earlier in the month. In the language of the stars, eclipses are associated with endings, revelations, and a startling emotional clarity. They act as catalysts that stir up things beneath the surface of our consciousness, exposing hidden truths and pushing us to look at the things we might have preferred to ignore. As that eclipse energy was settling, another shift occurred. The sun moved into Aries. This marked the beginning of Aries season, the start of the zodiacal year, which is a time characterized by action, courage, and new beginnings. Aries energy is not known for its patience. It is a force that pushes forward and encourages us to make bold decisions. By the middle of the month, the atmosphere was already charged with a sense of momentum. As several other planets changed their positions, each movement added a new layer of intensity, like pieces of a complex puzzle falling into place. Now, by March 28th, all these earlier shifts are converging into a powerful closing chapter for the month. One of the most fascinating characters in this unfolding story is Venus, the planet that represents love, beauty, and what we value most deeply. Venus is not a static force. Its personality changes as it moves through different signs. Earlier in March, Venus carried a much softer and emotional energy, but its entry into Aries changed everything. Because Aries is bold and fiery, Venus became much more direct. This often manifests in our lives as a period where people express their feelings more openly and passions become more immediate and impulsive. However, this Aries energy also serves as a test for our relationships. It forces us to ask the difficult questions we might usually avoid. Are you staying in a situation simply because it is comfortable or because it truly fulfills you? Are you holding back your true desires or are you living with honesty? In the weeks leading up to March 28, Venus encountered various influences that forced a confrontation with these questions, transforming from a gentle, accommodating energy into something courageous and self-aware. By the time we reach these final days of March, Venus is no longer passive. It is ready to take action, leading to moments of profound emotional honesty and bold confessions. While Venus was undergoing this transformation, the planet Jupiter was also beginning to stir. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, growth, and opportunity, representing our urge to step beyond the boundaries of what is safe and explore what is possible. For several months, Jupiter's influence had been slower and more reflective, but as March progressed, it began moving forward with new momentum. This shift can be subtle, like the difference between merely thinking about a new possibility and actually feeling the drive to pursue it. When Jupiter awakens, we begin to imagine a bigger future for ourselves. Dreams that once seemed unrealistic start to feel achievable again, and plans that were long postponed begin to resurface. But there is a cautionary side to Jupiter as well, as its energy can sometimes encourage excess or a dangerous level of overconfidence. It pushes us towards growth, but growth always carries an element of risk. As Jupiter gains speed during the final week of March, it creates a fascinating tension with the emotional boldness of Venus. While one planet is demanding honesty in our values and relationships, the other is expanding our ambitions and sense of opportunity. The interaction of these two forces creates the specific psychological tension many are feeling right now. All of these influences reach their peak between March 28 and March 31st, as powerful connections involving the Sun and Pluto activate themes of deep transformation and empowerment. Pluto represents the kind of profound change that reshapes the very structures of our lives. When the Sun, representing our core identity and awareness, interacts with Pluto, it amplifies our perception. We start seeing situations for what they truly are. Truths that were hidden become glaringly obvious, and the power dynamics in our careers, relationships, and personal goals suddenly stand out in sharp relief. At the same time, supportive connections with Saturn encourage a sense of long-term restructuring. This is not a chaotic or destructive energy. It is a focused force that pushes us to rebuild parts of our lives on a much stronger and more authentic foundation. This is why the end of March feels like such a definitive turning point, not because it was a single magical event, but because the internal realization of what needs to happen has become impossible to ignore. You are finally seeing where you want to go, and more importantly, you are realizing exactly what you need to change to get there. Naturally, this kind of energy often triggers an intense internal conflict. One part of you is likely craving freedom and the chance to break away from the predictable patterns of your life to explore a different path or say the things you've been holding back. Yet another part of you is still clinging to security, stability, and the comfort of a known future. This tension is a completely normal part of the process. In fact, it is the entire point of the energy. Growth almost always requires us to step beyond what is familiar, even though that familiarity provides a sense of safety. During these final days of March, you may find yourself hesitating, caught between the desire to stay where you are and the pull towards something new. Recognizing this tension is incredibly powerful because it allows you to make your decisions consciously rather than reacting out of a place of fear or impulse. Let's briefly look at the 12 zodiac signs and how the cosmic atmosphere between March 28th and March 31st may influence each of them. Starting with Aries, this energy is particularly personal for you. With the Sun moving through your sign during these final days of March, you may feel an unusual surge of clarity about your direction in life. Something inside you might be pushing you to take initiative, start something new, or finally speak your mind about an issue that has been sitting quietly in the background. The challenge for Aries during this window is balancing courage with patience. Your instinct will be to move quickly, but the real opportunity comes from choosing your actions carefully rather than reacting impulsively. If you channel this energy wisely, the end of March could mark the beginning of an important new chapter. Moving from Aries to Taurus, the energy of these days may feel more internal for you. Instead of pushing you outward, the cosmic atmosphere could encourage reflection. You might notice yourself thinking more deeply about personal priorities, relationships, or long-term stability. As Venus prepares to move into your sign around the end of the month, Taurus energy begins awakening quietly. This can feel like a preparation phase where you're gathering emotional clarity before stepping forward. Pay attention to subtle insights that appear during quiet moments because they may guide important decisions in the weeks ahead. As the focus shifts to Gemini, the energy of the last days of March may activate your social world and future plans. You might find yourself thinking more about where you want to go next in life, who you want around you, and what communities or collaborations truly support your goals. Conversations could bring unexpected inspiration, and ideas might arrive suddenly when you're interacting with others. For Gemini, this period is less about immediate action and more about recognizing which connections and opportunities are aligned with your evolving path. Then we arrive at Cancer, where the cosmic atmosphere may highlight career direction or public responsibilities. You might feel more aware of how others perceive your work, your leadership, or your role in the wider world. Sometimes this energy can bring pressure, but it can also bring clarity. Cancer tends to move carefully when making major life decisions, and this moment may reveal where you want to grow professionally or where you want to redefine your ambitions. Trust your instincts here. They're often stronger than you realize. As we move into Leo, the end of March may awaken your sense of exploration and possibility. You could feel a growing desire to expand beyond familiar routines and experience something new, whether that involves travel, education, or simply exploring ideas that challenge your perspective. Leo energy thrives when it feels inspired, and this period can remind you of the importance of curiosity. If you feel the urge to learn, explore, or step into a broader vision for your future, it may be a sign that this cosmic window is activating your natural drive for growth. Next comes Virgo, and for you, the energy may feel more transformative. The last days of March can bring awareness to deeper emotional layers, financial commitments, or shared responsibilities. Virgo often prefers clarity and order, but sometimes growth requires navigating complexity. This period might encourage you to look closely at where energy is being exchanged in your life, whether in relationships, work partnerships, or personal investments. Honest evaluation now can lead to stronger foundations moving forward. Shifting into Libra, the cosmic focus moves directly into the realm of relationships. You may find yourself thinking about balance between your needs and the needs of others. Conversations could become more meaningful, and you might notice dynamics within partnerships becoming clearer than they were earlier in the month. Libra naturally seeks harmony, but these final days of March might encourage you to redefine what true balance actually means. Sometimes harmony comes not from avoiding difficult discussions, but from addressing them honestly. For Scorpio, the energy of this period may appear in your daily routines and personal well-being. You might start noticing small details in your schedule, habits, or work environment that need adjustment. Scorpio energy is powerful when it commits to transformation, and sometimes that transformation begins with simple changes. The end of March could inspire you to refine how you manage time, energy, and responsibilities so that your everyday life supports your deeper goals. Moving forward to Sagittarius, the cosmic atmosphere may ignite creativity and passion. You could feel more inspired to express yourself, pursue hobbies, or reconnect with activities that bring genuine joy. Sagittarius thrives on enthusiasm and freedom, and these days may remind you of the importance of following what excites you. Whether through artistic expression, romance, or personal projects, the universe may be nudging you to reconnect with your sense of adventure. For Capricorn, the final days of March may turn attention toward home, family, or emotional foundations. Capricorn often focuses on long-term achievements, but this cosmic window can remind you that stability also begins within your personal environment. You might reflect on where you feel most secure and what changes could strengthen that sense of grounding. Sometimes a shift in your inner world creates the stability needed for external success. As we transition to Aquarius, communication becomes especially important. Conversations, messages, and new ideas may appear quickly during this period, and you might find yourself thinking differently about situations that once seemed clear. Aquarius thrives on innovation, and these days can spark insights that reshape how you view your surroundings. Pay attention to unexpected information or conversations. They could open doors to perspectives you hadn't considered before. Finally, we arrive at Pisces, where the focus may turn toward personal values and financial stability. The end of March might encourage you to evaluate what truly matters to you, both emotionally and materially. Pisces is naturally intuitive, and this moment may sharpen that intuition when making decisions about resources, priorities, and long-term security. By listening carefully to your inner guidance, you may discover a clearer sense of what deserves your energy moving forward. In the realm of relationships, these days are bringing a much-needed clarity. You might notice that your conversations are becoming more honest, and that feelings which were previously tucked away are suddenly coming to the surface. For some, this will strengthen their connections through shared truth. For others, it will reveal fundamental differences that can no longer be ignored. The key to navigating this is to approach these moments with honesty rather than defensiveness, recognizing that relationships often evolve through these difficult but necessary dialogues. Financially and professionally, the energy of late March is encouraging bold, innovative thinking. New ideas and opportunities may present themselves, but it is vital to balance this excitement with practicality. While Jupiter inspires the big dreams, Saturn reminds us that lasting success is built on careful planning. If you feel the urge to take action in your career, ensure that your decisions align with your long-term goals rather than being a response to a temporary impulse. A significant shift occurs right at the very end of the month, around March 30th, when Venus moves into Taurus. This transition changes the entire cosmic atmosphere dramatically. After weeks of the fiery, impatient energy of Aries pushing for action, the influence of Taurus begins to slow everything down. Taurus is a sign of stability, comfort, and grounded values. It encourages patience, consistency, and the slow work of building something that will last. In this way, the final days of March act as a vital bridge. They carry the transformative and bold energy of Aries, but they also prepare the ground for the calmer, more stable period that follows. This means that the insights you gain and the decisions you make during these final days will become the very foundation for something much more solid in the month of April. If you have been feeling a sense of restlessness or a subtle emotional shift lately, you are not alone. Many people feel these changes during periods of intense planetary movement. You might be feeling more reflective or more acutely aware of what is working in your life and what has become stagnant. Some will feel a surge of motivation, while others might feel a temporary uncertainty as they process these new realizations. Think of this as the emotional equivalent of standing at a crossroads. You may not have chosen your path yet, but you can feel that the moment of change is approaching. Simply acknowledging this feeling can help you move through it with greater clarity. When faced with such strong energy, people often react in two extremes. They either rush impulsively into decisions without thinking, or they ignore the feelings entirely and stay stuck in place out of fear. The most productive way to use this window is to take the middle path. Pay attention to the insights that are appearing, reflect on them carefully, and then take deliberate, conscious action. This allows you to use the momentum of the moment without being overwhelmed by it. Remember that the combination of movements creating this specific atmosphere is unique and temporary. Once March 31st passes, the planetary atmosphere will shift again, and the insights you have now might not feel as clear once April begins. To make the most of this energy, take time to reflect honestly on where you feel misaligned. Identify the decisions you have been avoiding and ask yourself if fear has been the primary factor holding you back. Then take one small, deliberate step forward. It doesn't have to be a massive leap. Even a single conversation or a new plan can be enough to shift your momentum. As Venus settles into Taurus and the energy of April unfolds, the intensity of these days will transform into something more stable, and the realizations you have now will become the foundation for everything that grows next. Be aware of the subtle shifts most people overlook, because the choices you make during this convergence are shaping the months ahead. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, it means you're part of a small group of people who are actually paying attention to these cosmic shifts. And if you want to stay updated on future astrology events, rare cosmic alignments, and spiritual timing windows like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next alert. Because April is bringing some even bigger planetary movements, and we'll be breaking those down very soon.